The European Union has flatly rejected a push by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to rewrite the Brexit agreement. In an email to EU member states, chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier warned that Mr Johnson was trying to divide them by amping up the threat of a damaging no-deal divorce.
Earlier this week, Mr Johnson urged the EU to rethink its opposition to reopening negotiations. He also threatened to withhold the $49 billion divorce bill that Britain has previously said it owes the EU. Mr Johnson said he would spend it on preparing for a no-deal Brexit.
Now, for more on this, let's cross over to Oliver Mircic in Brussels. Oliver, despite Prime Minister Boris Johnson's threats, the EU is adamant that they will not reopen negotiations. Is there any chance that will change?
For the moment, no. It's been the same message ever since that withdrawal agreement was agreed under Prime Minister Theresa May, or former Prime Minister Theresa May, that the withdrawal agreement could not be renegotiated. And we've heard that from President Juncker, the European Commission, as well as from Michel Barnier and from Donald Tusk, these three key players here at the European Union, that they will not countenance the idea that things can be renegotiated. Specifically, the backstop, it seems to be the problem that UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson seems to have, which is the insurance policy to ensure that there is no border reimposed on the island of Ireland. Now, European officials have said they can tweak the second part of the deal, which is to do with how the two sides will liaise with each other in the future. That's known as the political declaration. They can try and make that more palatable for Parliament, try and help Boris Johnson get that through his own legislature. But the withdrawal agreement will not be reopened. It will not be renegotiated.
So perhaps ready to tweak parts of the deal, but is Brussels ready to accept a no-deal Brexit, Oliver?
No, they are not ready to accept a no deal. They see it as the a really bad situation that they could be in. They think that it's going to cause some economic, at least some, they say it could cause quite a lot of economic damage to both the UK and to EU member states. We've just been hearing in the last hour from Ireland's Foreign Minister, Simon Coveney. He says that the statements made by Boris Johnson in Parliament have set the UK on a collision course with Ireland and with the EU. That has been a bad day for negotiations, and there is alarm and some suspicions here in Europe that Boris Johnson is only saying these things in order to bolster himself and to make himself look strong ahead of a potential UK general election. His team now includes the man who was the mastermind of the Vote Leave campaign. If you think back to the Brexit referendum, many analysts, many people in the media thought that Brexit would not happen. And this gentleman, Dominic Cummings, did make that happen by micro-targeting ads to people on Facebook. We've seen those ads starting to reappear on the Conservative Facebook page, 280 of them so far, where they're trying to find the correct wording. And the fear is that if the UK does go to a general election with this very, very strong team, then who knows, the Conservatives could come back with a majority. That would mean that they wouldn't have the wranglings that are currently going on in UK Parliament, and a no-deal Brexit could be pushed through by an emboldened Boris Johnson administration. So there is concern here at the European Union, but they are not going to lie down and try and get a no deal.